Hello, second graders. This is Mrs. Gilmore. We are going to start learning Unit 1, Lesson 9 strategies today. And the strategies we're going to be using are how to add 3 or 4 add-ins. So far, we've only had Math Mountains with 2 add-ins at the bottom. Well, now we're going to see what happens when we try to add 3 or 4 add-ins together. So take a look at the following problem. I'm going to write the addition equation, 6 plus 2 plus 8 equals blank. So let's think of a situation when you might have to add these 3 numbers together. Okay, so think right now, pause for a minute, and in your math journal, so that's your spiral journal for math. You're going to need to have that out with you. I want you to write a word problem that you might see for this addition equation. Okay, so you're going to have something, 6 of something, plus 2 of the same thing, plus 8 of the same thing. And you're trying to get a total. So right now, pause the video and come up with a word problem and write it down in your math journal for 6 plus 2 plus 8. Okay, so if you have written down a word problem, I'm going to write down, or I'm going to give you an example of my own word problem that would work for 6 plus 2 plus 8. So in my word problem, I saw some kittens at the animal shelter. 6 of those kittens were yellow. I'm going to put Y for yellow. 2 of those kittens were gray, so I'm going to put G for gray. And 8 of those kittens at the shelter were black and white, so I'm going to put BW. My question is, how many kittens did I see? So I'm going to know how many kittens in all did I see at the shelter. So that would be a word problem I could use for 6 plus 2 plus 8. So if I was going to try and solve this problem now, here's a way we could do it. If I want to figure out the easiest way to solve this, I'm going to try and find 2 of these numbers in this addition problem that equal 10. Because if I can get to 10, then the rest of my adding will be pretty easy. So I'm going to start by looking at my numbers and I'm going to say, okay, if I put 2 numbers together, do they equal 10? All right, 6 plus 2. Well, 6 plus 2 is 8, so that doesn't work. But I'm going to try another combination. I'm going to do, instead of 6 plus 2, I'm going to add 2 plus 8 now. Well, if I look here, I can see 2 plus 8 is 10. So if I put 2 and 8 together, I have 10. So now it's a lot easier because all I have to add now is 6 plus 10. And that is 16. So I know I have 16 kittens at the shelter. So the great thing about using making a 10 strategy is I can find my 10 and then I can simply add whatever is left to my 10 that I found. Okay? There's a couple other ways you can do this. You can move your numbers around and do 6 plus 2 first. So if I combine 6 plus 2, I'm going to have a doubles equation. 6 plus 2 is 8. And if I know my doubles, I can say 8 plus 8 for doubles is 16. So that's another way that I can combine my numbers together. The other way you can do this is to do 6 plus 2 plus 8. I can start by combining 6 plus 8, and I know that's 14. And then all I have left to add is my extra 2. 14 plus 2 is 16. So there's 3 different ways you can put these numbers together. Find the easiest way for you and work with that strategy. So I like the making 10 strategy a lot. Okay, now go ahead and turn in your SAB. You want to be on page 27 in your SAB. We're going to start these pages by finding a sum of 10, just like Mrs. Gilmore did on the other page. So I'm going to start by doing the directions say to ring 2 addends that make 10. Ring just means to circle. So circle 2 addends that make 10. So I'm going to look at my first one and say 6 plus 9 plus 1. Okay. Well, if I put 9 plus 1 together, that's going to give me 10. So now all I have left is 6 plus 10. And I know that's 16. Okay. For number 2, I'm going to find another total of 10. If I put, let's see, 5 plus 7, that's not 10. Oh, 7 plus 3 is 10, so I can put those two together. Then I have 5 plus the 10 that I just made, and that gives me 15. You go ahead and try number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, doing just what we did. Circle 2 numbers that if you add them together, they equal 10, and then add your other number and put your total in the box. Down at the bottom of this page, you can choose whatever order you want to add in. So you can choose to make a 10 if you can find a 10, or you can make doubles if you can find a doubles. So for number 9, if I look here, I don't see any numbers that if I put them together I can get 10. But I do see 3 plus 5 here, and 3 plus 5 is 8. And that means I have 9 plus 8. Well, this would be like a doubles minus 1. Doubles would be 9 plus 9. But since this is 9 plus 8, whatever 9 plus 9 is, which is 18, this is going to be less than that by 1. So I'm going to say this is going to be 17. Okay. Number 10, I'm going to look for a tens number. I don't see a tens number, but I do see 7 plus 2. And I have 7 plus 2 is 9, and this would make a doubles. So I can do 9 plus 9, and I know that's 18. So go ahead and do 11 through 16, these next couple of questions, and see if you can figure out a way to add them by finding a 10, or finding doubles, or doubles plus 1, or doubles minus 1, and then put your total in the box. Okay, now on page 28 in your SAB, you're going to be adding 4 addends together. Oh my goodness. Now, how can we add 4 addends together? Well, there's a couple different ways we can do this. So let's start on number 17. I can start, if I have 4 plus 4, I know, oh, this will make an easy 8. That's a doubles. So I can start with 8. And if I know I have 8, then I should be able to add 2 more to that, and that will get me to 10. So 8 plus 2 is 10. And all I have left to add now is this extra 5. So 10 plus 5 is 15. So what I did for number 17 is I found a doubles first. Then I added 2 to get 10. And then I added my extra 5. Okay? There's a couple different ways that you can make this work for you. You just have to find the strategy that works best for you. So maybe instead of doing the doubles plus 2 plus 5, maybe you want to do 4 plus 4 is 8, and 5 plus 2 is 7, and you know that's doubles minus 1. 8 plus 8 would be 16, so 1 less than that gives me 15. So that's another strategy that could work for you. Okay? For number 18, if I look at number 18, I can see that 8 plus 8 would give me 16 here. That's a double. 16 is my first amount. I can also do 5 plus 2 next. 5 plus 2 is 7. So I can add 16 plus 7. Okay? Or I can make a 10 with these numbers by adding 8 plus 2. That's 10. Then if I add another 8 and 5, 8 plus 5 is 13. So I'm adding 13 plus 10, which gives me 23. So there's lots of different ways that you can solve these problems. You just have to decide how to combine your numbers. At the bottom of this page, you're going to be adding and subtracting. You're going to be practicing both your addition and subtraction facts. So be careful when you do those facts. Now, when you finish this page, you're going to bring your SAB book to Mrs. Gilmore. You don't have to tell me anything. You can just hand it to me. And when I'm looking at it, then you know I'm going to be circling any mistakes that you made to check and to learn from. So bring your SAB book to Mrs. Gilmore, and then I'm going to check for any mistakes and have you learn from your mistakes. And then I'll have an extra activity for you to start on once you have finished your SAB pages.